Beyond anticipations and expectations, India's Q1 GDP growth declines minus 23.9%. The worst slump ever. COVID curbs hit GDP hard. India stares at severe recession. Millions of jobs already lost. MSME sectors hit. Government coffers running empty. This is truly India in Eco Shock 2020.
Hello and welcome. You're watching this India Today special Eco Shock 2020. The country is witnessing an economic slowdown. Hit by the COVID-19 pandemic, the country's gross domestic product has shrunk by 23.9%. This GDP growth data accounts for the months of April, May and June, when a strict national lockdown was in place across India. Watch this coming report for more details.
India's GDP contracts 23.9% in the April-June quarter of 2020, the worst ever in 24 years, since India first started recording its quarterly GDP figures.
This is along expected lines because what we are going through is an exogenous shock globally. The pandemic has affected the economic fortunes across the world.
The only sector which managed to survive the slump was agriculture, which registered a growth of 3.4%, while the manufacturing sector contracted by 39.3%. Mining saw a contraction of 23.3%, and construction has been the worst hit sector, which contracted by 50%.
0.24% of GDP growth is the worst that India has ever reported since we began recording quarterly GDP growth in 1996. So this makes the April-June quarter of 2020 the worst in 24 years. Now, considering that July-September quarter has been as bad, if not worse, than the April-June quarter, this clearly indicates that we are well and truly into recession, although we will know this formally only when the July-September quarter numbers are disclosed at the end of November.
This is one of the biggest contractions amongst major economies after the COVID pandemic hit. In the corresponding quarter in the last financial year, the Indian economy had registered growth at a rate of 5%, while in the previous quarter, that is quarter 4, financial year 2019-20, India's GDP growth rate was 3.1%.
On the day the GDP numbers were announced, our consulting editor Rajdeep Sardesai spoke to Chief Economic Advisor Dr. K. Subramanian. Let's hear what he had to say on the slump in GDP growth.
This is along expected lines because what we are going through is an exogenous shock globally. The pandemic has affected the economic fortunes across the world. For instance, if you take one statistic, since 1870, for the first time, the fraction of countries where the GDP per capita will decline is the highest. In other words, we are going through something that is a once in a 1.5 centuries event. So a clear exogenous shock. The April to June quarter, the entire globe was in a lockdown, with India being also in a total lockdown, several restrictions on economic activity. So this is not unexpected. Just to give you a parallel, let's take the UK economy, which is of a similar size to India in terms of the GDP. The lockdown that was implemented in India was significantly more intense than that in the UK. The UK economy contracted by about 23%, and we've contracted by 24%. So this is not along along unexpected lines. That said, what I do want to emphasize, Rajdeep, is let's look at a few statistics which are, I think, quite important. If you look at the core sector output, which had declined by about 38% in the month of April because of the lockdown, in the month of July, that has become minus 9.6%. And this has been progressively improving. Within the month of May, it was 22%. It was 13% in the month of June, and now 9.6%. If you look at a few other indicators, which are also quite important in the context of reading the economy, if you look at the railway freight traffic, that was at 95% level compared to what it was last year, same period in the month of July, and has increased by 6% in the month of August. If you look at the e-way bills, which basically captures interstate trade, in the month of August, it is at almost the same level. So this is indicative of a V-shaped recovery that is happening, and so the worst is definitely behind us.
While the country's GDP went down, its tax revenue collection has also dropped significantly. Amid widening the GST payout gaps, states are asking centre to pay up their share of tax revenue. And it is now an all-out war between the central and state governments on this issue. Watch this report coming up for more details.
You're facing an act of God.
This is Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announcing the coronavirus pandemic as an act of God and ultimately responsible for the slump that the country is witnessing in its already sluggish economy.
Whereas this year we are facing an extraordinary situation that even below the 10% approximate estimation, you're facing an act of God, which might even result in a contraction of the economy.
Back in 2017, when the GST was rolled out, it was branded as One Nation, One Tax. Individual states were promised by the centre full compensation and shortfall of revenues that they may face until the year 2022. Now, as the revenues have widened, the states are demanding their due of financial year 2021.
जब 21 लाख करोड़ रुपए आ ही गए, तो फिर हमारा जीएसटी का पैसा जो मात्र 2,500 करोड़ रुपए है, वो क्यों नहीं मिल रहा?
The Modi-led central government has now proposed two options to the state governments. Option 1 has a special window for states, coordinated by the Finance Ministry, to borrow the projected shortfall of Rs 97,000 crore only on account of GST implementation and not the COVID-19 pandemic. This amount can be fully repaid from the compensation cess fund without being counted as states' debt. Option 2 takes into account the impact of the pandemic, proposing states to borrow the entire Rs 2.35 lakh crore and bear the interest burden, though principal will be repaid from the cess proceeds. The GST shortfall amount of Rs 97,000 crore will not be counted as states' debt, while the rest of the amount of Rs 1.38 lakh crore will be counted in the books of the state.
As of now, the centre, it seems, is only trying to nudge the states to borrow more, because even though it has increased the limit for states to borrow from 3% of GSDP to 5% of GSDP, the average borrowing by the states is only about 1.25%. So it's nudging the states to borrow slightly more so that they can, so that the centre doesn't have to compensate them to that extent. What the centre is saying is that it is committed. The Finance Ministry sources even now are saying that they are committed to compensating the compensation cess. However, for now, what they want the states to do is that if they can borrow, let's say if they need 100 rupees and they borrow 65, it doesn't mean that they give up the right to the remaining 35. That will be compensated by the centre. But as of now, because of the financial situation of the centre and the states, they are nudging the states to borrow slightly more than they have been borrowing so far.
10 states have written to the Prime Minister rejecting both the options.
The GST Council was created as a first ever unique federal decision-making entity. Right now there is centre versus states and states versus states happening in it. In the coming days, there will be a lot of politics over the economics of GST. With the economy still in serious slide, GST's present remains tense and future not so perfect. In New Delhi, Rahul Srivastav for India Today.
One of the sectors that has been badly hit by the pandemic is the automobile sector. Already reeling from the slowdown, COVID-19 has proven to be a double whammy for the automobile sector. Recent reports are suggesting that car sales have picked up. But have they really? Aishwarya Paliwal and Pankaj Khelkar with this report.
India is officially going through one of the worst economic slowdowns in the world. Businesses are at an all-time low, and the service industry too is struggling with massive job cuts. The automobile industry was already waiting for a pick-me-up when the lockdown hit. Sales dropped to a historic zero for most manufacturers. May figures too were dismal, but now some green shoots can be seen.
If you talk of the current degrowth, this is improved month on month. So like April was a wash off, then May happened something. But since June we have seen an improvement. So June was 37, and from there till today we have seen an improvement of 5 to 7% month on month. So obviously coming months will be seeing a better place. If I talk of the passenger vehicle will be the first to come out of, not exactly come out of the degrowth, but the degrowth to be minimal. It has already come up to one single level. So I expect that things will be nearing normal in this festive season to come. And going forward, overall this financial year will not be a great year, but maybe April onwards we'll see the similar figure coming year on year.
In Pune, customers have started returning to showrooms and dealerships. Inquiries have increased over the past month.
अभी तो फिलहाल देख रहा हूँ कौन सा गाड़ी लेना है वो डिसीजन फाइनल नहीं किया है.
Two-wheelers along with entry-level passenger vehicles are driving this growth, signaling a shift in consumer preference. Customers are making a shift to their own vehicles rather than travel in public transport because of the pandemic.
पहला ये है पेंट अप डिमांड. अप्रैल मई जून में कई लोग कार नहीं खरीद पाए तो उन्होंने जुलाई और अगस्त में खरीदी है. कुछ लोगों की बिलीफ सिस्टम भी है, पितृपक्ष है फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ सितंबर में, तो उन्होंने भी थोड़ा जल्दी यानी अगस्त में खरीदी है गाड़ियां. तो ये रही एक बात. दूसरी बात इसकी ये है कि कोरोना की वजह से जो भी सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग है जो फॉलो करना बहुत जरूरी है, अच्छी बात है, उसकी वजह से लोग पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट का यूज कम करना चाहते हैं.
The uptick, however, is still low as compared to the numbers of the same quarter in the previous financial year.
People are genuinely trying to buy. Only window shopping has been very limited, to be very frank with you. The amount of customers that I used to get has been halved, but the actual customers have been doubled, you can say. Eventually, because of slowdown due to lockdown, we came down to 50-60 numbers, but last 2 months have been really good because business is picking up slowly, and again, you can say because of the customers getting out and lockdown rules being a little less restrict now. So we are back to about 90 to 100 cars a month now.
The automobile sector has been one of the worst affected by the pandemic. The industry was already seeing a slowdown when the pandemic hit India, but they are seeing a rise in the number of people who are buying entry-level passenger vehicles, which means that Indians have now had a change of perception. Most of the people who were traveling with public transport earlier are now shifting to these vehicles. But the industry is hopeful that government help will come, because without government help, a revival seems a little difficult at the moment. This is Aishwarya Paliwal reporting for India Today with camera person Nasir Khan.
Welcome back. Now we focus on India's unemployment rate. While the pandemic has hit jobs across the world, in India over 1.8 crore salaried employees lost their jobs after the pandemic forced businesses, firms to shut down since the month of April. And that is not taking it into account millions of others who are forced to take salary cuts as well to at least stay on with their jobs. Watch this report for details.
Businesses shutting down, shooting unemployment rate and nosediving GDP. The Indian economy is in doldrums, and some experts are already saying that the economy is in recession. According to data released by Centre for Monitoring Indian Economy, salaried jobs have taken the biggest sustained hit in the COVID-19 induced lockdown. CMI data shows 17.7 million salaried jobs lost in April 2020 and another 0.1 million jobs lost in the month of May. While 3.9 million jobs were gained back in June, an additional 5 million jobs were lost in July.
The last 2 months have been better than what was happening 4 months ago, 3 months ago. But it's a small improvement over a couple of months. Over 5 years, the trend is a downward trend, and we need very serious professional input to reverse this, and it is entirely possible to reverse this. We need determination and skill.
What is more worrying is the fact that despite the central government allowing most economic activities to resume after stringent lockdowns, the overall joblessness has worsened in the month of August in the formal sector.
Whenever we look at jobs, we have to look at not just in terms of the quantity, but in terms of the quality as well. It is in this context, it is important to consider the backdrop with which we went into this particular crisis. While in other sectors of the economy, there was basically, for instance, take the banking sector. Compared to other economies, we went into this crisis actually in an inferior position on the banking sector. But on employment, what is important is that, and this is something that we highlighted very clearly in the economic survey as well, over the last 6 years, the quality of jobs had improved significantly.
As per the latest data released by CMI, the figure for urban unemployment in India shot up to 9.83% in August, as against 9.15% in July. And rural unemployment too witnessed an increase. It was 7.65% in August, as against 6.66% recorded in July. According to CMI data, Haryana is the worst hit state with 33.5% unemployment rate in August, followed by Tripura at 27.9% and Rajasthan at 17.5%. Karnataka reported the lowest unemployment rate at 0.5%, followed by Odisha at 1.4% and Gujarat at 1.9%. Some businesses have been hit especially hard by the global and domestic lockdowns, primarily firms in the service sector, working in travel, aviation and hospitality. Manufacturing is also another sector that is struggling to cope with the times.
India today caught up with former chief economist of the World Bank, Kaushik Basu. Let's now hear what Professor Dr. Basu had to say when asked about whether India will see a hockey stick shape recovery instead of a V-shaped recovery as suggested by the CEA. Listen into this.
Yeah, hockey stick is a good term. I never thought of that. It may well be a hockey stick recovery, but more than that, my worry is all over the world, there's going to be something like, let me use your term, a hockey stick recovery. But I fear India's recovery is going to be slower because of the damage that has happened to the economy over the last 5 years needs repair. So there will be recovery. We've gone down completely. 2021 is going to be a very, very bad year. We will recover out of this. But if we don't recover as well as other countries do, then over the next 10 years, 20 years, the big India story that the world was talking about 7-8 years ago, that story will be lost forever. So some recovery will happen for sure, but it's the relative terms. Vietnam has pulled in a lot of investment that has exited China. China has pulled back a lot of new investment. Compared to that investment coming into India, what was being expected 6 months ago, we have seen none of that. This needs to be corrected. So some recovery, but recovery in step with the rest of the world. We can't lag behind, which is what is happening.
So while according to the GDP numbers, agriculture is the only sector that is witnessing some growth, we take a look now at Kashmir Valley's famous apples because they are also gloomy this year. After difficult times in 2019, post the abrogation of Article 370, restrictions followed by that, the growers have been facing an untimely weather also, and then comes the COVID-19 pandemic.
Like most of the economy, the outlook for famous apple industry too is also gloomy this year in Kashmir. Several factors including the weather and COVID-19 situation has contributed to low production so far. The farmers are facing a double whammy, as in 2019 at the harvest time, the erstwhile state was shut, following the abrogation of Article 370. This year too, the prospects do not look good for them.
इस साल जबकि खुशकसारी भी हुई, लॉकडाउन हुआ और नाक़िस दवाइयाँ भी हैं। आप देख रहे हैं, खुद भी देख रहे हैं कि यहाँ 100% नुकसान ही नुकसान है।
Like Ali Muhammad, a lot of farmers are worried in Kashmir. The officials say that there could be a decrease in overall production by 20 to 30% this year. In 2019, the production was 20 to 22 lakh metric tons, and except for some areas in South Kashmir, almost all the fruit growers seem to be losing out.
हमारे इस इलाके की तरफ भी बाग मालिकान की तरफ भी थोड़ी तवज्जो दी जाए।
अप्रैल मई में बारिशें रही और पॉलिनेशन में थोड़ा सा उसे दिक्कत आ गया। दूसरा, यहाँ बिहाइव्स वगैरह जो होते हैं वो बाहर से आती हैं, राजस्थान से। कोविड की वजह से उनके वहाँ इंपोर्टिंग में या दूसरी चीज़ों में भी थोड़ी सी दिक्कत रही।
Horticulture is the second biggest trade after tourism in Jammu and Kashmir, and over 2.5 million people are directly or indirectly associated with it. Many of these farmers are now hoping that the government will come to their aid in whichever form it can to help them in this crisis.
Not only is there an issue with certain climatic changes, but also with the harvesting, as very little labor is available to them because of the COVID-19, and that's why they hope that it is the government which will come forward and help them in all possible manners so that they can bear with this entire situation.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.